I shall start. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Awkward Squad Reviews. So, you may notice in the title that this is not a real reaction or review. We did put out recently, very recently, a video on our reaction and review to the movie Persuasion that came out in 2007. And in our review, we had a pretty vigorous debate.
That's one way of putting it.
Passionate works too, yeah. So we really wanted to put the whole debate in to our review, but because we were very passionate, we took a lot of time, as we tend to do. And it
took longer than we think we're going to.
Yeah.
Always. And so because of that, we decided that we will post some highlights in our review video. So you can check that out over there in the info card. And we're posting the full debate on this video. So please, watch the whole thing. Let us know what you think about it.
Watch the reaction too.
Yes. So check those out and let us know how you feel about the debate in the comments below. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
But then we get to the only Elliot we didn't talk about, and that's Anne. And Anne's...
Well, I mean, there's another Elliot.
I mean, yeah.
Elliot.
But the only Elliot
We hate
in
him
that...
too.
That's true.
In that
we do
immediate
hate-
family.
In their immediate family, yes. We didn't talk about Anne. And okay, so we see Anne as kind of a doormat. And I think that is the whole point of the title of the book, Persuasion, because she was so easily persuaded. You see that?
Yeah.
I
mean, they straight up said it in the movie.
They straight up said it, yeah.
Times.
So she was so easily persuaded to not marry Wentworth. And so I think doormat is a pretty good term for her. That's kind of how we see her. But it's also not exactly doormat either. Because they're not really pushing themselves on her in the sense. Like doormat is usually like, hey, can you do that? But then she just offers it to keep the peace.
She's more resigned.
They kind of end up pushing themselves on her. Like, they try not to make it obvious, but like,
yeah,
they do definitely
they're so
take
used to her
advantage of her.
acquiescing that they just automatically.
Well, no, I think that's part of it, but I think it's also because I think it's also that she doesn't give off doormat vibes in that sense. Like, you can just walk all over her, and I think she does it so that everybody would just make a decision and then move on. Like, for example, with what was the son's name? Charles? No, Charles is. I don't remember the little boy.
The boy.
Yeah, the little boy who fell out of the tree. When they came and it came time for them to leave, and Mary's making a big fuss, as she does, and Anne is just like, okay, I'll do it. Don't worry about him. It's fine. Go. Right? That wasn't more doormat level, especially because Mr. Musgrove, the dad, Mr. Musgrove, was like, are you sure? I don't want to do this to you, kind of deal. Like, it's very kind of you to offer, but it's okay. And she's like, no, I'm totally sure. And then it's like,
partially because she's like, yes, I'm getting out of seeing Mr. Wentworth.
Yeah. Yeah. There was no ulterior motives here.
Oh,
what?
No.
But so that's not giving me doormat vibes. More like, just, okay, make a decision, go. Do it. I'll like that. But there's not really a word for that. I don't think, at least.
I think we all got the same vibes though.
Yeah, but you were saying that you were annoyed by it, right?
Yes. That's. I forgot I wanted to mention that. Yes, based on like how passive and how much of like a pushover she is, and kind of like the doormatty vibes that I was getting, like I was so mad sometimes because she wouldn't tell like most of the Musgraves, for example, had no idea she was engaged prior to meeting Mr. Wentworth, right? So like they were just talking about like, ooh, he's so handsome, ooh, he's so cool, he's so awesome.
Yeah,
And then like at
but
the last possible moment, she's just like, oh yeah, we've met before. We were engaged, and they were like, oh.
Well, no, they didn't say they were
No.
engaged, but they did
yeah,
say
no,
we
they're
met
just
before.
like, we've met before.
Yeah.
That's all it ever was.
But
They
isn't
never
that-
mentioned
Really,
that
they
they were
didn't tell.
engaged
She
previously.
didn't say that.
No.
See,
And that
this makes
doesn't.
me hate her
That's not
more.
so much. That's not so much a doormat thing as it is just not something she wants to bring up.
Yeah.
It's not even
And it's
that. It's
more-
her being passive. It's not standing up for herself.
No,
Like,
see,
No, I
not-
would disagree.
Yeah, I would disagree as well. I think
It's something that I wouldn't bring up either.
yeah.
I wouldn't want to
if
talk
you were
about it.
say, okay, say Mr. Wentworth, right, was literally like the new person in town, right, and everyone was talking about like how they want to marry him, how handsome he is, how rich he is, and like they were talking about it like literally all the time. Would you not be angry and say, hey, could you like tone it down a little bit? He's my ex-fiance. Wouldn't you say
Well,
that?
it depends.
No.
It depends. It
I would not.
depends. I mean,
Why?
if you okay, so well, in one sense, I don't think, but I'm thinking I'm thinking in her terms. I think it's probably more along the lines of nobody knew except Mrs. like Lady Russell and her dad, and her, and Whitworth. The four of them are really the only people who knew that anything was going on or had the potential of going on, right? And so if you advertise that, now people are going to look at like people are going to be like, wait, what? And so confused about the whole last 8 years. It's going to bring up a
Yeah,
whole bunch of drama.
It would be
And-
too much drama, and
But
I wouldn't want to go through that.
It's
Yeah,
not a
and
lot of drama though. It's just you
Yes, it
being
is.
like, "Hey, can you shut up for a little bit?" Like,
well, no, I
that's
think
that's
That's
literally
still not
all it
something I
is.
would do.
yeah, I think in
Look
general,
at her family. Look at the headache that her family is.
That is true. But I mean, the Musgraves would have been
Saying
okay
that
with
she-
it.
Saying that would have made them even more of a headache.
yeah. And then also just on a personal level, right? If I had been Anne Elliot, right? I may not have wanted to hear what they were saying about Wentworth, right? Regrets, anything else, whatever, right? But then I feel like had I been like, okay, you need to stop, right? Who am I to say that they should stop talking about Wentworth? If they want to talk about Wentworth, let them talk
Your
about Wentworth.
feelings.
I may be,
Literally, it's annoying to you if it's very
but
like,
it's
disturbing to
one
you.
person
It's
versus
you. Too bad.
3 or
It's your
4 other
feelings.
people.
I just
It's not that important to them.
I
It
feel
is
like
very
that would
important
be
to you. You
something-
should stand up for yourself.
That would be something that I feel Mary would have done. And
It's not a Mary
Don't-
thing to do. It's
Okay,
a normal person
so-
thing to do, to stand up.
for me, it's less a standing up for yourself because it's not like they're purposefully doing it.
yeah.
Exactly. They're not purposefully doing it. So it wouldn't have caused
So,
a lot of drama.
Yeah.
It just hurt you. You know, it
Okay,
doesn't need
no.
to be.
I didn't know
So,
she was
the new
engaged.
hottest
That would
guy-
have been drama.
The new hottest
Exactly.
guy
They
where they're all
don't
like,
know
"Oh,
that she
I
was
want to marry
engaged.
him. Oh yeah, I used to be engaged, so maybe you can stop talking about it in front of me." Probably would have still been. They're like, "Wait, you've been engaged to him?" Like, and they
First of all, she was
bothered him more.
engaged, and then engaged to him. So that's 2 things that they did not know about. And then,
Okay.
you know, it's
Especially since
That's
like,
okay.
okay,
new
You can
hottest thing-
explain
who's
that.
okay, who's the latest like big shot guy, young guy, famous person? I'm
Tom
thinking-
I don't know.
Tom Holland. Okay. Tom Holland. Say I knew Tom Holland, okay? And we dated to the point of engagement, and then it
Tom
never worked
Holland
out.
is not
Right? Wait.
Captain Wentworth.
Okay. Wait.
Captain
No. Wait.
Wentworth
Okay.
is a normal dude.
Oh no, I'm saying before Tom Holland became famous or whatever, right?
No.
I
but,
knew
like,
Tom Holland, and
No, but
we were in a
this is not the
relationship.
same thing.
Okay, who's another one who's older? Older
Not
one.
older,
okay.
but like just like a normal person. Because Captain Wentworth, yeah, he's kind of the
He's
talk
the
of like the
big
household. He's not
He's a big.
huge.
He's
Really
rich.
rich.
He's rich,
He's
but he's
rich.
not.
He's
not
handsome.
famous.
He's a captain in the Navy.
I wouldn't say okay.
He's not
He's
famous.
like the new hottest thing in the area.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
He's
okay.
quite literally-
Okay,
And then
okay,
if you
that's
say
fair.
you're the talk of the town, he's the talk of the town. Then you who say that you used to be engaged to said talk of the town, especially with a family like Anne
Hers.
has,
Mhm.
there's no way that's not getting out.
Yeah. Especially, and it doesn't seem that she wants news of this engagement to get out in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? She kept it a secret for 8 years. Only 4 people knew about it. Why?
I
if she
wonder
starts,
why.
if she starts saying it, because
I mean,
he was poor. Okay, they all said it was a bad match, and so that might have. She's 27 and unmarried, right? If he never came back,
would you really want to talk about getting your heart broken in that way?
yeah, like Lady Russell asking her if he's written after he became rich. That was a stupid question.
Oh yeah.
Why would he write to her? She broke off their engagement because he was poor and didn't have a title. That's a terrible thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay? And then Lady Russell's like, well, now that his situation's changed, why didn't he talk? No, you can't expect that. Like, if she had done the same thing, if she was in his position, right? If she had been the poor one, and then her situation changed and became rich, and he was like, and then they asked him, well, did she ever reach out to you? Why would Anne do that? That's not a, you don't do that. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's just not something I would want to talk about. And so I get where she's coming from there. And I have a very, I have a family that has a lot of people with strong personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying they're like, they're like the Elliots.
No. They're very nice people.
I love my family very much, but I also understand Anne's position of being the one to like offer to maybe do stuff that I don't necessarily want to do, but I'd rather do that than deal with the headache of what. And also, I can also empathize with her on not wanting to talk about certain things with people with strong personalities and staying more quiet when it comes to being in a family of strong personalities.
Yeah, and I think that even with the Musgroves, that would have just been. It would have just. They would have asked. It wouldn't have just been a set and done deal. Like, there would have to be some explanation in there.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to rehash that, especially if her feelings are, and as we see, she did love him.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if her feelings are still that strong, why would she want to bring that back up? You know? And then, it's like I said, personally, I would not, like, they're not doing it maliciously. They're just talking about it because he's the new big thing. Right? And you know what? If they want to talk about him, they can talk about him. It may like I have 2 legs. I can walk outside of the room, or I have a brain that can get distracted. I'll distract myself. You know, I don't have to. I'm not entitled to be the one person that ends this conversation. You know, I know that I'm not saying that right.
Maliciously?
It's not entitlement. It's just making others aware of your situation so that they can be more considerate around you. That's not entitlement. That's just basic
but
consideration.
It's not something you want to talk about.
Sure, but then you could say something like, oh, actually, I don't know. What could you say?
Like, okay, even if you just say, actually, I don't really want to talk about this, right?
Yeah,
even if you just leave it at that. Even if you just leave it. Okay, no, say they don't, and they move on, right? That's why would I'm one person. If 3 other people, and this is not,
It doesn't matter. It's not a huge deal to the 3 other people. It is a huge deal.
Actually, it was apparently.
It was. It's not a negative thing. It's not like they're. It's
We were
not like they're
talking
saying
about
something
Louisa
bad.
possibly marrying him. That's a pretty big thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was just gossip.
Well, no, that was
But
the
that
whole
was their
thing.
family, and they
That's why he
legitimately
left.
believed that
What
it
do
could
you mean
happen.
he left?
He left the town because remember when Harville was like, "Oh, congratulations on your and he was like, "What do you mean?" It's like your engagement. It's like, what? And it's like to Louisa, right? And he's like, no, you have. If you want to get out of this, you have to like go somewhere far away, and you need to like let time pass. And he did. That's what he did, so that the engagement rumors would go away, right? But so that is a very important question, like not question, topic for them, right? And then it's not like it's negative or anything, right? It's not like they're saying terrible things about Anne and Anne's presence. They're not doing anything
If it
wrong.
was,
If
if
it
they've
was
been doing it
malicious,
maliciously,
yeah.
then it would be a standing up for herself issue. But in this situation, it's just something she doesn't want to talk about, and hearing them talk about him doesn't bother her enough that she would, like, open up that topic.
Yeah.
And I can really understand that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's, like, nothing
I
that...
still can't, but I can respect where you guys are coming from.
I mean, I've done that before. I've had something that really bothered, that, is personally, I have some sort of, like, connection to, and my family has, like, offhand talked about it, and I wasn't happy listening to them talk about it, but I didn't want to open up that can of worms.
Yeah.
And so I just let it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that.
There are
I mean,
there are some things that
Yeah, but you're also...
like if she was malicious, if they were maliciously doing it, or if it was something really bad that they were talking about, like I don't know, bullying. I don't know if they were bullying somebody else, right? If it was something so like what the subject of what they were talking about was negative, then it would make sense. But like in any other sense, if she wants to interrupt and say something, she can. If she doesn't, she doesn't. I don't think that that's necessarily a doormat move.
Like I said, it's...
Do you
think I'm a doormat? Because I wouldn't... That's not something that I would do.
I don't think that in and of itself characterizes a doormat. I think that contributes to her overall characterization. So I'm not saying either you are a doormat.
She made the choice. She made the choice not to talk about it. And I mean, and you saw when did they find out?
I respect it now.
When did they find out about her knowing Wentworth? When Wentworth brought it up.
Exactly.
She was just gonna let it go, never talk about it. We don't need to talk about this at all.
I think the issue is your personality doesn't let you.
I cannot fathom doing that. That would be absolute torture for me.
And you are also someone who would like to be part of the discussion more.
Yeah. I feel like you would want to be in the conversation.
Yeah. I'm someone... Anne, I think, is pretty similar to me in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would definitely, in that situation, I wouldn't want to talk about it, and I would just do my own... I would just think about something else.
Yeah.
And I don't think... It's less of a she can't stand up for herself thing, and more of a she just doesn't want to talk about it. She just doesn't want to bring that into... Especially with a family that's as gossipy and, like...
Jealous. Elizabeth is jealous.
Yeah, as her family.
Especially considering... Look at how Elizabeth was with Mr. Elliot. Right? They had not interacted with Mr. Elliot for years. And now all of a sudden he's back in her life, and now she's like, oh, he's interested in me. And then when he pays some attention to Anne, it was like freak out time. Right? Now imagine if she had known Captain Wentworth had known her in the past, and they had been to the point of engagement, and then the feelings are coming back up, or he's like, I'm pretty sure the dude. I don't know. I'm not gonna say this, but I feel like Wentworth is probably richer than Elliot, but that could be just my mind making that up.
I get that vibe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right? But even if he wasn't, just imagine that kind of attitude. If this came from like 2 or 3 visits from Mr. Elliot to Anne, and she's acting this way, how would she react to an 8 years ago relationship and that's blossoming all over again? She would never let that happen.
I just wouldn't want the headache, and I think it's the same for Anne.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, like I said, I still don't agree. I still think she should have said something, but I can respect her now. Because before, I did not respect her for not saying anything at all. I was like, wow, that's so stupid. And now I kind of respect it.
Well, also, this is another thing. I was just thinking about this, right? Had they known, the Musgroves known about Anne's previous relationship with Wentworth, they may not have pursued or tried to pursue a relationship with him and Louisa, right? Because they might have felt obligated not to, right? And I mean, and had he felt nothing for Anne, that could have been a good match for her, right? So now, if none of this story had ever happened, right? If like he wasn't in love with her anymore, okay, and he moved on, he hated her. I don't know. Yeah, but say that was not the plot, right? Then the Musgroves may have felt obligated not to pursue. I mean, I'm not saying they wouldn't have. Maybe they would have. But I feel like the way they are, I feel like they would have felt more inclined to avoid relationship with him because of how he and Anne were in the past,
I feel like this hinges on a lot of
she may have. True. I'm not saying that's not true, but
I think
just as
we've kind of gotten all of the arguments for this specific thing out. I think where we got is good enough.